Good afternoon and welcome to today's Spotlight webinar. We have a great presentation for you today. I wanted to start by thanking you for taking the time out of your busy day to attend our webinar. We have an excellent panel of speakers presenting today. First up, we have Jason Smith. He's an account executive here at Call Tracking Metrics, and I've had the pleasure of working with him for the past 4 years. According to his LinkedIn, he's a call center software evangelist, a MarTech disruptor, feared by competitors and loved by customers. Jason has a wealth of knowledge with over 20 years of sales and customer service experience, with a focus on providing cloud-based telecom solutions for any size business. Our next fabulous presenter is Jessica Eddowes from Lice Clinics of America. Jessica is a self-proclaimed data junkie with over 20 years experience in digital marketing. She works in everything from the .com to the .bomb era to running a CPA agency, and now serves as the Vice President of Digital and E-commerce for Lice Clinics of America, which is one of the largest and fastest growing lice clinic networks. Welcome and thank you for participating. And lastly, my name is Jessica Michaels. I'm a resident Google guru and product coach here at Call Tracking Metrics. I'm a Google certified partner, and my background is in digital marketing, and I recently pivoted from running our marketing campaigns here at Call Tracking Metrics into a full-time product coach. While I was in marketing, we ran several G2 crowd review campaigns, which was really eye-opening to us. And based on the feedback from you, our clients, we discovered that we really needed to invest in additional resources for training, which has led to my role as product coach today. So with that, I did want to real quick show you a little bit of what we've been working on. So over the last year, we've rolled out a full training schedule where almost every day during the week, we're offering different online training resources. Today is our first Spotlight webinar. And with those, we're going to be doing a different one every month, which we're going to really be digging into one feature. So this is our first, and we're very excited for it. Next month, we're going to be talking about our form reactor. And in the theme of feedback, there is going to be a survey at the end of this webinar. So if you have a suggestion for a new webinar topic, please let us know. Or if you want to partner with us for a webinar, also let us know. We'd love to incorporate you. With that, we also have professional services that we offer. So with this, it really allows our team to do the heavy lifting for you. So we have our weekly trainings that are available always for free, or we have some professional services that will do the work for you. All right, so with that, we have a great presentation for you today. Okay. And as a coach, I like to start my webinar with a couple of exercises to get to know the GoToWebinar control panel. So if you can hear me, will you raise your hand on the GoToWebinar control panel? Just like to make sure that everyone can hear me. All right, I see hands going up. So that is good. I will bring those down. Now, if you can see my screen, which should be our agenda for today, will you also raise your hand? All right, I see hands going up all around. Excellent, excellent. All right, so it looks like everyone can hear and see me. So we're in good shape. And the last piece is we are going to have some live Q&A at the end, but at any time, if you have any questions, you can enter them into the question box in the GoToWebinar control panel. So just to make sure everyone knows where the question box is, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, tell me your name, where you're dialing in from today, and something like what you had for breakfast. Let's get to know each other. So I'll wait just a minute for those to populate. Okay. All right, here they come. We have Aaron from Seattle who had coffee. Excellent, welcome. We have people from Orange County who also had coffee. Coffee seems to be a very trendy breakfast. We have Andy from Atlanta who had Waffle House. Oh, that sounds good. All right, now they're coming in quick. Now we have Vanessa from Texas who had donuts. That sounds amazing. We have Anthony who just graduated with his BMA. Congratulations to you. We have Eric who had yogurt. We have people coming in from West Palm Beach. And now they're coming in almost too quickly for me to read. But we have Cleveland in the house, Los Angeles. We have Angela and Amanda from Maryland. Welcome. We are also located in Maryland. We have somebody from Atlanta who had Chick-fil-A. Welcome. Ooh, we have some people from Hawaii. Welcome. Okay, they're coming in so quick. I wanted to give everyone a shout out, but we have a really high attendance today. We have people from Daytona, from all over the place. Okay, well, welcome. Looks like we're all familiar with the GoToWebinar control panel. Everyone can hear me, see our screen. And with that, I'm going to pass the presentation over to Jason, who is going to be expressing the importance of texting and how it's good for business. So with that, Jason, take it away.
I'm sorry, am I unmuted now? Thanks, Jess.
Unmuted. Got it.
I came to call tracking metrics from more of a traditional telecom background. Prior to my time with CTM, I worked with vendors like AT&T, Verizon, CenturyLink, mostly selling mid-market and some enterprise solutions to businesses to achieve objectives around their phone and internet. None of the solutions that I sold for any of these companies had any kind of SMS capabilities, especially that they were offering to their mid-market clients. So up until 2015, my idea of texting was exclusive to your wireless service plan or a very niche standalone software tool with a very high entry point to utilize. So I was surprised when I got to call tracking metrics and I saw that texting is a standard capability here. And we weren't the first company to do it by any means. And at the time, it was very basic, one-to-one. You can send a text message, you can receive a text message. Even in these last few years, there's been a lot of evolution. The technology is changing rapidly. We're seeing more and more telecom companies including texting in their voice offers, especially in cloud-based voice over IP solutions and companies that are targeting call centers. We're also seeing more advanced capabilities around the text messaging. So we've come a long way from we can send a message, we can receive a message manually. Things like the automated text response, bulk text messaging, integrating text touch points into your Autodialer campaigns, just some of the enhancements that we've seen in the very recent past. So what's driving this shift in the industry? Are we adding these things just because everyone else is doing it and it's cool to have an SMS offer? No, there's also been a transition for a long time coming around your customers' attitudes towards text messaging. Some of the stats here on the slide from sources like Gallup and Frost and Sullivan and Gartner speak to the importance and why companies are looking to add this channel to their communication tools. Texting is becoming a favored method of contact, you can almost say, not just for your millennials, but your Generation Xers and baby boomers as well. So there's a lot of talk of this millennial generation. How do we market to millennials, millennials that are consumers? How do we appeal to a millennial talent pool? How do we retain millennial customers, companies that are being led by millennials? So as the younger side of this generation starts to enter their 40s, it's going to be even more important for businesses to engage with them through their preferred channel of communication. So how does call tracking metrics let you open up this channel of communication and start interacting with people via text message. Jess, if you can go to the next slide. So I'm going to review some strategies that I've seen companies implement to leverage this important and relatively new channel of communication. I've broken some of these strategies, some of these use cases into 3 categories, which are our lead generation, how do we market with text messaging, our customer service, how do we present customer-facing text messaging to our existing clients, and our internal operations, how can we use text messaging to notify our internal teams about important touch points, important milestones that we need to notify them about. Some of this stuff might seem like common sense, but hopefully there's a few aha moments that you can find in here. You'll be able to take away some new ideas on how you could potentially integrate text messaging into your existing workflows. So the first one we'll talk about here is text messaging for lead generation. So the first scenario is someone fills out a request for a quote form on your website. We can send them an instantaneous and immediate and personalized text message, getting in front of them right away. There's all kinds of stats out there that say your chance for converting an online prospect dramatically decreases every minute that you wait to engage with them. So getting them engaged with a text message could potentially stop them from continuing their research, moving on to your competitor's website. Another great use here is someone calls after hours, or all of our sales reps are busy, tied up on phone calls. We can automatically identify these people in call tracking metrics based on that call status, and we can send them a text message apologizing for not being able to connect with them right away, committing to getting back to them as soon as we have an available agent. And the last one in the lead gen is our Autodialer. So our Autodialer supports integrated touch points. So you can imagine you're loading a list of records that you want to dispatch outbound calls to, and in between maybe your second and third phone call attempt, we can send a text message that's pre-configured. Hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you about this promotion that we're offering. I'm going to call back tomorrow from this same number, and hopefully that'll increase your chances of getting that third or fourth attempt to pick up through your outbound prospecting campaigns. So our next one is customer service. We've already got this person in our billing. They're an existing customer. How can we engage with these folks with a text message? So a popular use here for the existing customers is any company that's got field techs. They've got people in the field that are servicing these clients. They're meeting with these clients. So you can imagine having the field tech open up the call tracking metrics app before they start the job, after they finish the job in the field. Those text messages are tracked and documented, so it eliminates any he said, she said, he said he started at this time, but he was here a half an hour later. He said he finished at this time, but we saw that he left a half an hour before that. And these text messages also support the ability to send media. So you can imagine if a lawn care company, when they finish doing the yard work, they send a message with the completed product to show the consumer. Another cool use case here is using text messages to confirm your scheduled appointments. Give the customer the option to reply with a keyword like cancel or reschedule that triggers a separate workflow, like an email to a dispatcher or a service manager that knows now that they've got to reach out to this particular person to reschedule that appointment that we had previously set. And then lastly, event management. So imagine you're hosting a conference and you load up some scheduled bulk messages reminding your list of attendees where they need to be, at what times, what events are available to them throughout the day, throughout the course of this event that you're offering. You've got a bunch of people in the same room. So the last one is internal operations. So how do we leverage text messaging to notify our internal teams of important engagements? So one scenario is an angry customer calls in. That angry customer requires follow-up from a manager. maybe the manager's out to lunch, the manager's off site that day, we have the ability to provide a button in the call log that's maybe an escalation button. And as soon as that button is toggled on, the appropriate management team receives a text message with the call ID information about the call, so they know that they have to get back to that person as quick as possible. Another scenario where this is valuable is a high-end prospect, the other end of the spectrum, right? It's not the angry customer, but it's a high-end prospect that's ready to buy something right away. Maybe the initial team that's fielding those calls is our newer, our more green sales teams, and when they get the whale on the line, they need to notify the seasoned account executive or the sales engineer. So similarly, being able to engage those resources through a custom field or some kind of action that triggers a text message to bring them in and sell the solution. And then additionally, just like we triggered dials for outbound call or for missed calls, we can notify teams via text message based on things that the agents are doing on the call. So an agent's missing a call or somebody's connected on a phone call for 2 hours. All of our sales calls should be wrapped up in about 20 minutes. What's this person doing on the phone for 2 hours? So being able to notify call center managers around these types of events that you want to be notified of, that you need to be aware of. So that's my piece. Thank you, everybody. I hope you found this information useful.
Thank you, Jason. Yes. And so in my portion, I'll actually be demoing a lot of the things that he talked about. So he gave a nice overview of like the use cases and why it's positive, like these great things. And then we'll actually be exploring that very shortly. So up next, we have Jessica joining us from Lice Clinics of America. So welcome, Jessica. Let me make sure she can. Jessica, are you there? I believe I have her unmuted. It might be just a second for her to get in. So I will give a nice little overview of them. Okay. So Lice Clinics of America is the largest and fastest growing lice clinic network with 333 clinics in 34 countries around the world. They're a longtime client of ours, and it's been an exciting journey working with them over the years. Jessica and her team originally came to us seeking better reporting options, and over the years have worked our campaign attribution, call routing, and workflow automation tools into their everyday practices. So let's see if we can get Jessica on the line.
Hi, can you hear me now?
There you are. Yes, welcome. Welcome.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And good morning, everybody. Everybody's having a great day all across the country.
Yeah, we have, looked like we have some people internationally dialing in as well. So all across the world.
That's so great. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, so we thought it'd be fun to kind of break this up into a little bit of an interview style. So I have some questions and feel free to answer them as you'd like. Sound good?
Great.
And Jason, feel free to chime in as well if you like.
Will do.
All right, great. So the first question is, what made you decide to start using texting with your customer base?
Great. So basically, we started doing this because, you know, and I think part of this is a reason that you guys already laid out in this is, you know, millennials, texting is really quickly becoming one of the fastest ways to communicate. In this digital age, it's really important to be able to communicate with customers as quickly as possible. And so due to that, we've really adapted this over the last couple of years. For example, we have a booking tool and things like that. And it really just allows us to be able to get notifications quicker and be able to reach out to our customers faster.
Very cool. And so what drew you to call tracking metrics as opposed to, you know, one of our competitors or a third-party provider that maybe you're previously working with?
Yeah, so what originally happened is we had a system that was very clunky. It was very hard to get any kind of reporting out of. We weren't really able to get a lot of information. And so I came across call tracking metrics, and really I saw the reporting dashboard and thought, wow, this is exactly what we need. With having over 200 clinics in the U.S. and 336 internationally, it's imperative that we're able to track so that we can see the results of our marketing efforts and really be able to understand, what's happening on an individual basis. And call tracking metrics has really given us an opportunity to be able to do that.
Awesome. Great. Can you give us an overview of how how you're currently using texting on call tracking metrics?
Sure. So we've used a lot of different aspects of the texting function for call tracking metrics. One of them being currently what we've done over the last year is we have a booking tool. So there's when somebody makes a request for a book to book an appointment, that request then goes to the clinic owner via text. So what we've actually been working with call tracking metrics to develop and do is a entire system that adds on top of that. So not only is it going to text the clinic owner, but it's also going to text the consumer saying, hold on tight, we'll have somebody with you right away and we'll get your appointment confirmed. And really what that is allowing us to do is to be able to send out simultaneous communications so that, a concerned parent, imagine you just found bugs in your child's hair, or you reached up and pulled something out of your own hair, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm absolutely freaked out, there's bugs. And so at that moment, you really want to be able to get a hold of somebody. You go online, you book an appointment, you want a response right away. And this really allows us to be able to text both at the same time. Our clinic owners get an immediate response. They reach out to them either by phone call or by text. And then we're also able to communicate with the consumer as well.
That's great. That's a really cool use case.
In addition, we also have some other ways that we do that. So, pre-appointment instructions, things like that show up with clean, dry hair, and things like that. We're able to just text all of that ahead of time, which is great.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely handy to be able to provide some information that they need to have, prior to coming.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yep.
So what results have you seen so far, and what business challenges has texting automation solved for you?
Well, in terms of challenges, like I mentioned, we being able to send to a consumer, number one, puts their mind at ease. We've received a request. Somebody will contact you as soon as possible. It puts that control back because they're able to get that information right away. They know, okay, somebody's going to get a hold of me. In addition, there can always be lags with email and with other forms of communication. You could be, sometimes it takes a while to get through exchanges, things like that. And when you're sitting there with bugs in your hair or bugs in your children's hair, you really want a response as soon as possible. And so texting has really allowed us to do this a lot faster. And the current system that we have prior to making this transition to call tracking metrics, sometimes the texts would even lag. They'd be lagging, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. And, and as I mentioned, this is very urgent for people who are looking for assistance. And so being able to have that immediacy with getting the information has been truly helpful.
Yeah, and I bet it's also really nice because, something like lice is a little bit of like a sensitive or a self-conscious issue. So I bet texting also helps bridge like any awkwardness or anything like that to really help people encouraged to engage without feeling, self-conscious about it.
Absolutely. And, it's hard enough sitting in an office building or being surrounded by your peers. And part of the problem is, and that's a great point, is that, unfortunately, it's still very taboo, to get lice. And so, you don't necessarily want to be sitting in your cubicle next to somebody making a lice appointment. So it allows people to be discreet, to be discreet and get an immediate response. So, which is great.
Very cool. So what's next for your team in regards to using texting? Do you hope to roll it out in any other ways beyond appointment requests?
Well, part of what we're doing, and we have several ways that we're looking to roll this out. So one of them is the appointment request. We've started adapting additional clinic owners over, so we spent some time testing, and now we're starting to roll it out farther. We've also used it or are planning on using it in different ways. For example, we are always looking for new and amazing franchisee owners. So we're working on text responses to them as well. So somebody makes an inquiry, they would like to own a clinic. We are working on being able to text back out to them. So it's great for sales leads to be able to provide, kind of some immediate information and be able to move through that process. And, as I mentioned, we're having more adaptation with pre-appointment instructions, reviews, all different types of things that we've been working through. So, and we're continuing to adapt different things as we learn and test. We then start to roll it out to the network.
Very cool. Well, that does conclude all the questions that I have for you. Is there any last anything you want to include or say?
I just appreciate how we're able to work together. It's great to be able to watch you guys grow and how much you guys have grown over the last couple of years, and how the capabilities have grown, the reporting, and it's great to watch a company who wants to do a great job and listens to their consumers and really helps us grow. I love the fact that we've come to you and said, okay, here's the initiative that we want, and you guys help us get there. And that's just been an amazing partnership, and I appreciate that.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. And it's like I said in the beginning, one of the things that we really do care about here is our client feedback. If you see a survey coming or us asking for a review, we actually read every single one of those and we take those into consideration. So, it's clients, like Lice Clinics of America that have actually helped us evolve into what we are today. So we definitely appreciate the feedback, and we love these partnerships. So it's a fun adventure for us as well. All right.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for participating in this. We're going to move on into the next section, which is now we've kind of talked about all the different use cases. So now we get to go in and explore them. So I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of show and tell style, or more tell and show. So I put together 6 use cases, and then I'm going to talk about them a little bit and then demo them. I also want to point out that I do see a lot of the questions coming in. It is a little hard to do both at the same time. So we'll address the questions at the end. So you're not being ignored. We will get to them. Okay. So we do have some fun, creative ways that we can implement texting. So one of the new things Google has rolled out in the last year is text message extensions. We'll be touching on that. We're going to look at using them for printed ads and billboards. We're going to look at form confirmations. We have a bulk texting capability built into the system. We have our Autodialers, and then in the Lice Clinics of America situation, we can also do appointment alerts. So we're going to explore all those things. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And with this, we're going to be doing a lot of live testing and demoing today. So if you see a call to action to text, I encourage you to text, and we can actually watch it live happen. So should be pretty exciting. Okay, so up first, we're going to talk about Google's their ad message extension. It's no secret that Google's focus is mobile first, and they're aware of the increasing demand to integrate the millennials' preferred method of communication, being texting, into their ads platform. Message extensions are out of beta and ready to attract and connect a new audience. So I'm actually going to switch in and show you this. It's fairly new to Google. I believe they started testing it last year, but with the rollout of their new interface, it is now available to everyone. And what I think is really great is the the complement that we have with Google. We would never say anything bad about them, but I think like our software, we complement each other. So I think it's the perfect complement because call tracking metrics allows the agency to use text message capable local and toll-free tracking numbers to engage with their prospects. The tracking numbers provided by us, they protect the user from exposing their personal cell phone numbers in the ads and allow the agency to perform a handful of automated responses and alerts to ensure that all messages are responded to and routed to the correct place, driving new leads and increasing engagements. What is also cool is that message extensions can now be counted as conversions in the Google Ads platform based on the number of exchanges. So up on my screen, here is the setup inside of Google Ads for a message extension. And kind of just nerding out a little bit. It took me a long time, but I actually can now say I love their new interface. I think I was a slow learner on it, but now I think it's really awesome. And I love how they do the demo so you know what it would look like. So I think one of the things that are preventing small businesses and different companies from really utilizing this is the fact that you have to have a phone number that's text message capable, which if you're using, like a local phone company, you're not going to be able to provide that. So why I say we're the perfect complement is our tracking numbers come in local and toll-free and texting capable. So in this case, no one has to put, their personal cell phone number on blast in order to utilize this. We are going to, protect that from going out there. And with it, we can do a handful of automated responses. Google does allow for one automated response here. After that, you would have to have somebody on your end continue the conversation, which could be a little tricky if you're not using a platform like ours. Later on today, we're actually going to be demoing the different responses and automation we can take, so I won't get into that right now. But the message extensions are pretty cool. They're definitely, I think they're going to be a hot item going into the new year. And it's mobile, and that's really what Google's pushing. So that is one of our use cases, message extensions. And if you're not familiar with them, to find it, you would come over to Ads Extensions and go to Extensions, and we'll make sure that it's message extensions. And you can go here, and that will take it to the full screen. I'm going to post a help article in the chat, which will go to everyone if anybody wants to read more about Google's message extensions. This is one of Google's help articles, but it will just tell you all about it. Okay, so up next, we're going to talk about printed ads and billboards. So texting is also a powerful call to action for printed flyers and billboard advertising, and is a fantastic way to push users from an offline source to online engagement. One of the really cool uses is the ability to use short codes like bit.ly and tracking parameters to attribute offline attribution to online activities, which I'm going to demo in a moment here. So in a past life, I was the marketing manager for a home improvement company. After a job was completed, we would send out a mailer to the surrounding neighborhoods with a before and after image of the local home that we just finished remodeling. What we weren't able to do is attribute an online demo or a phone call back to the mailer. So texting creates a really cool call to action that will bridge that gap. So I created a fake ad. Let me show you this. I believe it is this one. So here's just an example of the way that you could do a mailer. So what we did was postcards, but like I said, we didn't have this texting capability. So if anybody wants to try this, it's actually, if you text save 50 to 301-684-6630, you will get an automated response. But this is just an idea of a way that you could utilize this. So that's my fake mailer. We'll actually be seeing more of this plate today for another example. Okay. We actually have some clients that have used a texting call to action in their mailers. And what they do is, actually, let me pull that back up, how any tracking number can have multiple calls to action for the promo. So if you text, say 50, that could be, one trigger. But what they did is they actually used a unique number for each area code. So not only were they able to attribute, leads coming in through those, they were able to say what location they were coming from too. So that's another creative use case. It allowed the agency to measure the ROI of the campaign, as well as to provide insight into which locations are most profitable. So I wanted to pull in some fun examples from Google to show some creative ways that people have used texting in billboard campaigns as well as texting campaigns. So I did some Google searching. So let's take a look at these. So this is a fun one. This is a billboard that was put up in Hollywood. And it had, a phone number right here with a call to action of RSVP. So this is actually a blog that I found, and it was from a movie, and people were tweeting it, that if you actually called the number, something happens. Even then Seth Rogen came in, and what happens is James Franco actually would answer the phone occasionally. And talk to the people. And fun fact, if you go to our blog, you can actually see what happened. So he actually answered one of the calls on the Conan show. So they had this phone number routing to a cell phone that he actually did answer on TV. So that was one cool use case of a billboard that we saw. And then I just, did some Googling. This was one that was done by Coke. I thought this was pretty cool. It says, text your name to this number and they'll display it on the screen. We could actually technically do something like that with the use of our Lambda functions. I thought that was pretty cool. And then here's another one I found, which is showing, text vote to this number and it would probably send you voting information. Okay. So while some of these examples are using texting shortcodes, which we do offer, but they don't really come highly recommended because they come with a very heavy price tag and take at least 3 months to set up. While shortcodes are 5 digits, our regular tracking numbers are 10 digits and can be set up in minutes with all the same functionality for mere dollars. And the main difference is they have 10 digits rather than 5. So it's a smart and efficient alternative to a short code, but if you absolutely wanted them, we do have them available. Another alternative to those would be if you used a vanity number. So that might be something that people would identify with and help them remember it. So that was flyers and billboards. Let me see if we had anyone actually test our promo. Oh, we had a lot of people actually test it. So let me switch back to my other screen. So let me real quick, I will hide the contact. But you can see we had a lot of people coming in and texting. And let me show you how I built this. So if we go to triggers, here we have save 50. I like to title it something, really easy to find. Mail or promo. So the trigger is when a call or text is received. And so how I built my workflow is if the message body contains save 50, then I want to actually tag this with the tag of save 50. And we have these really cool tokens now. I think we introduced those maybe at the beginning of last year that I can say hello name, which I just pull from here, and it will insert it and then give you a link. I used a bit.ly to where you can download your coupon. So I can actually show you if you did click that. I created an unbounce page. It's not really to get a promo, but it's a way that you can direct somebody from offline to online, and then we can put in all the source tagging too. So this would actually track this person back to the flyer that they received. So some pretty cool texting automation going on. And it looks like we had a lot of people engage with it. So yay, very cool. We had 20, awesome. Okay, so up next, we're going to talk about form confirmations. So there's two different ways that we can automate a text message response to a form. So what it would do is it would automatically send a text message response to the person who just filled out the form. This is a fantastic way to automate a thank you for expressing interest in your brand or product. It's also great for sending confirmation if your form is to schedule an appointment. There are two ways you can automate a text response to a form. The first is there's one built right into our form reactor, and the second is utilizing triggers. So let's take a look at both. So what I'm going to show you first is our forms. So if we go to numbers, forms, I have a few created. So let's just go into this one. If you've never used our form reactor, it is very cool. It can trigger an automatic callback after a form is submitted and log it in the call log. So it's a great way to see all of your inbound leads in one place. Like I said, next month's Spotlight webinar is going to be totally focused on the form. So if you want to know more, we're going to have a lot more info coming your way. So we have texting here. So this will send an automatic follow-up after the form has been submitted. I will let you decide how you want to delay it. It could go, right after, say 1 minute after, which we could do days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So maybe you want to send it a week after. Every company has their own use cases. I'm just going to say 1 second after, and I might want to say something like, oops, thank you for your interest. I can't type and talk, I turn into a robot, but you get the idea. So what happened is somebody would fill out the form, and then after it's completed, they would get an automated response. So this is one way to do it. That's pretty handy. But what it doesn't do is give you the tokens like we can do in the triggers. So the other way we can automate this is using triggers. So here I have our text form follow-up. So I'm going to trigger this for at the end of a call, form, or message. And I created my workflow to say if the form includes this form, I could have it include any. It could be all of my forms, but maybe I want it specific to this one form. I can then say I want to send them a text, and here's where I can use the tokens again. And there's lots of different ones you can do. So I typically just use name, but we could, provide all this information. If we had any information from their, enhanced caller ID, we could put those in. Or if you're using any custom fields, we could also include those. But for this one, it'll say, hi, whatever your name is that we captured. Thank you for your interest in our product. Here's a link to my calendar to schedule a personalized demo. So again, if you were to actually click this link, it will then, whoops. Oh no. Oh, you know what? That was a fake one that I did for demo purposing. So that's not a real one. But, then it can direct to and then, carry all the UTM parameters. So just so we all know how I build these short codes, I use the Google URL builder. So it is pretty simple. You would just put your page in and then you type in, your source and any information that you'd like. And I could say show full or have it convert to a short link. And then when I copy this, makes it real small and nice for a text. When I paste that in, it'll add all the different parameters, which will allow us to capture them and attribute it back to them inside of the call log, which I will show you here. So here is a form fill that came from one of those, and we were able to attribute all this robust campaign information. So pretty cool. Okay, so that is how we can send text messages, automate them through form fills, and we can do it a couple different ways. Okay. So moving on, I'll jump back to the presentation. Keeping on track, up next, we're going to talk about bulk texting. So bulk texting is a great way to get the word out about an upcoming event or special. So in another past life, I was the marketing manager for a small restaurant franchise. In that position, I worked very closely with the chef, and every now and again, we would be presented with an amazing deal on something like Brazilian sea bass. If you wanted to take the offer, you would need to sell it all within, 3 days. Usually you would get a really discount deal on something that had, a shorter shelf life. Now, in that case, texting, bulk texting is a great way to get the word out. So bulk texting is the perfect avenue to get the word out to a large crowd of your most interested buyers, letting them know the sense of urgency. This weekend only, sea bass special for $19.99 while supply lasts. And then you can actually put something in, like a link to reserve a reservation. So now we're going to do a live demo here. And if you remember when you registered for this webinar, we did ask you for your cell phone number. So we are going to utilize those cell phone numbers that we captured, and we're going to send a bulk text out. So let's do it. So with the case or with the example of the sea bass, I have my lovely little promo I made. So, we have this awesome special where we're going to be running it for $15.99. This is just a little demo of what, an image might be that you can attach. And, you put your brand and your phone number here. So we're going to do a bulk message. Let's go ahead and do that. So to do that, we can go to texting, bulk messages. I'm going to say new. I'm going to call this sea bass. Sea bass is one of my favorite foods. That is not a coincidence. So I'm going to actually send this image because, images, make your mouth water. You're going to want this. And then I can put in a little message where I can say something like this weekend only, save on sea bass. And then I can put a link. I'll use my short code, grab this, and put that in, put in my code so they can make the reservation. So this is my message. I have an image attached to it. So the next thing I can do is I can manually add phone numbers. So if you have a database, you can copy and paste them, or you can upload a file, which seems to be the easiest route. So we're going to take that. Here we go. So these are the numbers that we took from the registration. So a lot of people didn't provide them, or they might have been formatted differently. So it does recommend that we use at least one number. I'm going to go ahead and use it from all of them and say send now. So send bulk message. So it should be queuing, and what's really nice is it'll send pretty quickly. So everyone should be receiving these within a moment or so. So we got some in the queue. We didn't have any fail. That's good. So as you receive them, feel free to reply to them, and then we can actually see them in the text log. See that we have all of our sents. Awesome, awesome. So it does look like they're going through. So if I go back, so they're sending, we had 6 delivered, they're going out. So again, bulk messaging is a really great way to get information out quickly. I think this is definitely something that you use sparingly. People wouldn't, I don't think they'd appreciate getting these twice a day, but if you have, that really strong call to action and a loyal crowd, I think they'll jump on this. So hopefully everyone's receiving these. Let's refresh. Okay, they're going out. Great. And go to my text log. I can actually see them coming through. Looks delicious. Awesome. Stock images, try to remain compliant. Okay, so that's bulk messages. Really fun. One thing that I didn't mention with that, that one I did a send now. You can also schedule them to go out. So if you know you have an event or something reoccurring that you want to remind people to, so maybe it's like a club, or you're a dinner club and every month you go somewhere different, you could send a reoccurring one on the last Friday of every month, letting them know that they need to register. Or you could send it at a later date, say this time. So lots of flexibility. Send it now, send it later, send it reoccurring. That is bulk messaging. Okay. Looking at the time, trying to be time conscious. Got a few more things to show. All right. So another great texting campaign we have is with Autodialers. Now, I think typically when people think about, Autodialers, they're thinking about, a phone call and not typically thinking about texting. But what's awesome about our dialers is that it allows you to create a drip campaigns that incorporate more than just outbound phone calls. It allows you to integrate texting into the flow, which is really an awesome tool to help re-engage prospects as well as earn trust. Stats show that phone calls from unknown numbers aren't as likely to be answered as a phone call from a number that you recognize. And I can tell you my phone gets spammed constantly. So if I don't have that number saved in my phone, the odds are I'm not going to answer it. So using autodialers, you can actually let somebody know that you're going to call them and have that phone number there. So even in the case of, like Jessica was saying with Lice Clinics of America, they can send these texts to let people know, that they're going to be they need to be prepared with these things, and maybe even let them know that you're going to be placing a call and provide them a phone number so that they can recognize it. It's also a great follow-up. So let's actually switch back into CTM, and I'll show you a little auto dialer that I have created. So here we have our dialers, and this one, my examples. So if we go all the way down to the frequency, so think of like any type of drip campaign, we do those in calls. So you can say, customize when is the first callback going to be. So I created just kind of a demo one here. So, so call back right away. And then, if we don't connect, we're going to call back in a day. If we don't connect then we're going to call back in 7 days. And then what we can do is we can also send text messages. So to create, add another layer to the flow. So here's one that I created. And again, we have the ability to use tokens. So in this case, I'm saying, somebody requested a demo with us, but they never followed through. We've called a few times, haven't been able to connect. So maybe this will be the tool to get them to actually schedule. So what I did is I can say hi with a token for their name. So it'd be, hello, Jessica Michaels. This is CTM following up on your interest in scheduling a demo with us, and here's a link to do that. So maybe that's the form that they need to actually set the demo. So that's one use case as a way to help re-engage in a flow. And here is another one. So this is kind of like I was saying for Lice clinics, that it might be useful for them, is to say, hello, Jessica Michaels, this is a reminder of your appointment. One of our representatives will be contacting you for more info, and then actually put the number there. So when they see they're receiving a call from that number, it won't be like, oh, I'm getting spammed. They'll be able to say, oh, right, I need to talk to them. So it can help increase the conversion or the connection rate for phone calls. So that is how texting can tie into auto dialers, which is pretty cool. There is no limit to like the amount of callbacks you can do. I've seen people who actually have a full year of scheduled engagements to try to connect with people. Some people will only have one. So there's lots of different ways that you can build these. Yes, so that is auto dialers. So the last thing we're going to talk about is appointment alerts. So I will just flash back the slides. Appointment alerts. So we can book, confirm, remind, and even schedule appointments via self-service automation. So there's some really cool things we can do around this. I will try to show you all of this and keep on time. So let's go back. So if we go, what I did is with the use of custom panels, we can create date fields. And with the date field is we can schedule a reminder. I know my dentist does this, and so does my doctor's office, and I love it. They'll send me, 24 hours before my appointment, a reminder, hey, you have an appointment, reply with, yes to confirm you're still coming. We have that full capability to do here. So I actually built a whole flow for this, and I figure we can all do it together. So there are a few different parts of this. It does utilize custom fields and custom panels, so we can get that date field. I created a landing page using Unbounce. Really, any landing page would work. I am using our form reactor, and I'm using that to map to the custom fields. And I'm using some triggers to automate confirmation, reminders, and reschedule. So I'm going to show you those. And I hope everyone will go do this with me, is I created a Calendly account to connect. So you can actually book a confirmation and then receive an alert. So there's a lot of cool things that we can do. All right, so let's take a look at that. So first, this is one that I did do earlier. So you can see these are form fills. So the first thing I did is I created a custom panel. So to do that, you go to your settings, custom fields. And up here, there's new panel. So I did demo requested. And I created a status so that we can know, is it requested, scheduled, confirmed, or canceled? And then I created another field for a demo date. So this is how we're going to trigger our reminders, okay? So if we save here and head back to the call log, that is this custom field. All right, so using our Unbounce integration, I created a page with a form, which will map to here. So let me find this. Here we go, but I want to use my bit.ly one. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put this in the chat for everyone. So please go to this page, and I will do it myself as well. So here we go. Here is my page. This is just an Unbounce template. I didn't put any effort into doctoring it up. So here I have my call to action to request a demo. Now I do have this form integrated, so it will go into the call log. So here I can say, I can fill this out and say request. And there we go. So from here, I get directed to my thank you page. So let's real quick jump back into the call log. And you can see, people, let me hide these to protect people's information, are filling it out. And we can see the actual website that they came in on. And we should be able to see that they had the campaign information, which is pretty cool. So that's all coming in. And if you fill it out, it's going to direct you to another form on the thank you page where you can actually book the time. So that is another form reactor I've created. Whoa, that I've lost. Here it is. Okay, so if I schedule this, I'm going to pick a time, and I encourage everyone else to do it too. This isn't a real thing, so it won't actually be one-on-ones. I can put in this information, and ta-da, I am scheduled. So what will happen is that we'll send another, this is demo scheduled versus demo request, and it's actually putting the time and date that I selected in here. So hopefully everyone is doing this, and as you fill these out, it's going to send you a confirmation. So we're getting them coming in. This is awesome. I love seeing the live activity. So let me show you what we've done. So we've got a few different ways that we are automating this. So first we have our demo status. So if the form is this coming soon, that was just the name of it from Unbounce. If it's this form, I want to set the status to requested. And then I'm going to have it run this trigger, which I will show you what that means in a minute. But if they fill out this form, which is actually going to be the scheduled demo, I'm going to make the status be scheduled so that we know it's going to send an automated confirmation, and it's going to tag it as reminder text sent. So if anyone's doing this, they should see they've received a text that says hello with their name to confirm your appointment. A reply with yes if you'd like to reschedule, reply with reschedule. And then we're having it run another trigger of appointment status. So let me show you what that does. So for the appointment status, this was me just kind of get a little savvy. As if somebody comes in and it's requested, we're going to tag it as demo requested and score it with 1 star. So this is just a visual of we know that this was requested versus confirmed, which if we scroll to the bottom, a confirmed one, we would score with 5 stars and tag it appropriately. So these are just additional triggers to help automate the tagging. So that way, if with just looking at the call log, I should be able to know what status they're in. And in this case, if the status is canceled, then we're going to tag it as a canceled appointment. We're going to remove the tags of demo and confirmed appointment, and we're going to remove any conversion. So anything like our scored amounts. Okay, so that is to just automate the tags and scoring. And then I have another trigger, which is appointment confirmation, which if anyone filled these out, they should be seen. So this is saying if you replied to that one message with yes, then we are going to tag it as confirmed appointment. We're going to change the status of that custom panel to confirmed, and we're going to send you a confirmation letting you know that your appointment is confirmed. And using our tokens, we're able to say the date that your appointment is on. So pretty cool, right? So all that completely automated, set it up once, and it goes. I'm actually seeing that I'm getting these too. Okay, so in this case, if they replied with reschedule, then we know that this is going to be a canceled appointment until they reschedule, because that'll be another step. So we're not going to assume that it's rescheduled quite yet. So we're going to mark it as canceled. We're going to change the status to canceled, and then we're going to let them know that their appointment on that date is canceled and send them a link to reschedule so that we can keep them engaged. So everyone still with me? All right. So let's take a look at what has happened. So we can see people have actually gone through. We're having our stars, so we know that some have been scheduled. Now, one of the things when working with this is it might be helpful to customize the way you view your columns in the call log. So we can put our messages too. So that'll put that field in, and then when we come to our filters, we can add inbound and outbound messages. So from here, we can see that these people did confirm their time slots. Oh, this is cool. We have a lot of people making appointments. Yes, yes. Doesn't look like anybody wanted to reschedule, but pretty cool stuff, right? So fully automating, scheduling. Now, as far as sending reminders about confirmations, I didn't want to show that because you wouldn't see it interactively. So I'll actually just show you how we would do that from here. So, okay, let's go to this one. Go to this one. So here, if they confirmed with yes, one of the things that we can do is send this, and then we can add another action of, say, delay. And what's really cool with this delay is it can give us an option, and we can offset the delay by a custom field that contains a date frame. So that's why we created that panel. So I can say, based on the demo date, I want to offset this before, and then I can come here and say a day and then 1. So now, if this person is confirmed, we have the date. now I'm adding an action to wait a day before they're scheduled, and I can then send them a reminder. So if I come to my actions and send text, then I can say something very similar to this. Say, this is a reminder. Your appointment is confirmed for this date. See you soon. So just another way to let them know that, remind them that they have the appointment. You could put a call to action, like reply with confirmed, and then, just to lock in that time. So that does complete my demo of showing all the fun, or many fun ways that we can utilize texting into our marketing campaigns. You can do very simple to some pretty complex stuff, and get some pretty cool results from it. So, we had a lot of people engaging with this. This is fun, as well as seeing the campaign attribution that came from it. So that's one of the things that I think is really cool. In this case, if this was a mailer and somebody, responded with a text and clicked the bit.ly, we're going to be able to track this back to the original mailer to say this offline source is driving this online traffic, which is leading to this revenue. So again, really cool things that we can do all within the system and automated. So most of the work is, going to be automatically done for you. So with that, we can head back over to our slide deck. And so next steps, if you are not a client of ours and want to have a demo, you could reach out to our sales team and they'd be happy to show you around. Yep. And with that, thank you. I know we got a lot of questions. I'm going to try to dig through these. Yeah, there's a ton. And feel free to chime in, Jason, or anyone else who can help answer these. Okay, here's a question. What's the benefit of sending a text thank you follow-up instead of an email? I would say one of the benefits around that is going to be the open rate. They say most, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think that texts are read within like 2 minutes of the time. So there's all sorts of stats about people's phones and how often they check them.
So the text message gets viewed in about 2 minutes, and the email is much longer than that before the average email gets read. So people are checking their phones more frequently, more regularly throughout the day.
Yeah, so there's a lot of questions. I'm going to just try to pull through them. Somebody says, it seems like this needs a way to be integrated with my scheduling program. I have heard of any info in regards to the integration. So we use Zapier, and so any third-party form you can map from Zapier into CTM. So in the example I use Calendly, and I actually just created a Zap to map from Calendly to us, and that was pretty easy. So depending on what you're using for your booking tool, I think Zapier has like 5,000 different connectors. There's a good chance it could be done that way. Let's see. Can you use the automated text and everything you have spoken of with AMP? Ooh, that's a great question. I assume so.
So our AMP integration really relates to how we surface up our tracking numbers on the AMP pages. So once we've got that number on a page, whether it's AMP or through our regular JavaScript, the tracking code, once people interact with that number, then all of the stuff that we talked about would apply.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, Jason. This does the reminders work with Google Calendar? They would with the use of Zapier. So
I know Google Sheets and the Google Calendar and Google Docs all have connectors within Zapier. Zapier.
Are you correcting me?
Zapier makes you happier. That's how I remember.
Yeah, that's it. I had it wrong. Somebody says it would be a nice tool. Yep. Again, Zapier. I think that would be the correct approach for that. Somebody says, how do you address TCPA compliance? So that is a fantastic question. Jason, do you want to take that one?
Sure. So we don't provide a pure opt-in mechanism. So we expect you to bring opted-in records to the CTM texting tools. Now, we do give you some tools that'll help you document those opt-ins with the recorded phone calls. You can add messaging at the front end or through an auto attendant, an IVR menu. You can make some disclaimer that, hey, by calling here, by going through this process or leaving a message, you're agreeing that we're going to send you communication. We can add a custom field in a form reactor. So if you're collecting web form leads, we can help you document the people that filled out those form leads, saw your TCPA compliance statement. And then on the back end for getting these people that want to unsubscribe out of these text campaigns, we provide you with a do not text list. And through these triggers that we've been talking about, you can create triggers that'll, if someone replies to a text message with stop or unsubscribe or remove, the action that trigger runs is to add that number to a do not text list. So then if we tried to send a text message to that number, or they were part of a bulk message, it would automatically block the message from being sent.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you, Jason. I have another one here, and I'm not sure if this is referencing Jessica from Lice Clinics or if she was talking about me, but the question is, does she have a dedicated person answering the text messages or have her phone team answering the text? What is her average response time? Does she only offer text options during business hours or 24/7? So all of these are customizable. You can, with the use of triggers, you can really automate who receives these messages in any way. So a lot of times what people do is they'll have, when a text comes in, they can forward that to, personal phones. You can actually send an email to, management that says, this text came in, and then have them handle it. There's lots of different ways that you can go about it. You can have texts be automatically assigned to certain agents in the call log, and then you can create alerts, emails, and things like that for them. And I don't know how to speak on what's her average response time. Anything automated should be instantaneous. If you're having agents do it, I guess that would be based on their workflows. So I don't think I can answer that properly. But these are great questions. Or Jessica, are you there?
Yeah.
Do you have an idea for those?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, average response time can definitely vary, but that's part of the reason why we're trying to, why we're utilizing call tracking metrics, is because there was a lag with the other systems. Response times are very, very quick because they're coming through text, and we've got, 100 people or more around the country who are fielding those responses. So, it's sent out to multiple people at the same time, and they are able to respond accordingly very, very, very quickly. And we've got some people who respond at midnight. If the request comes in and they're awake and looking at their phone, they respond. So it just depends.
Yeah. Somebody says, where can I go to get more help and training on how to succeed with CTM? This can help my company now, in all caps. But I'm completely new to the program and need more training. Well, excellent. Welcome. Not excellent that you're, let me stop myself before I dig my hole. But again, we have our support hub. This is going to be, a wealth of information. But as far as live trainings go, we're hosting different live trainings every week. We do have our workshops. This is a week long. They're about 2 hours a piece. We start with a completely new call tracking metrics account. And by day 5, we've built Autodialers. We have forms. We'll have texting campaigns. And really, we offer these once a month. And any new feature we've added, we're going to include into these workshops. So anyone who is brand new or taking our new clients that want to have them learn about it, Workshops are definitely great, and we have our fundamentals webinar series. Those are also a great way to introduce new concepts, new ways to use us. These two really piggyback on each other. I like to think of the fundamental ones as they're going to be more of, hey, we can do this, while the workshop is really going to be step by step. We're going to build them together. So the fundamentals are offered every other week. Workshops we do once a month, and then we have other little things we do like office hours. But everything is live. We have it all scheduled throughout March, and then by mid-February we'll have through Q2 all scheduled out as well. And again, if you have some suggestions for different spotlight webinars, let us know. We want to incorporate what you guys want into these webinars. So all right, so thank you for that question. That was a great one. I have lots of thanks. Thank you all for attending. Somebody says, can we add graphics to messages? Yep, absolutely. We did that in the bulk dialer. So you can do attachments, graphics, whatever you'd like. They do affect the character limit, but I believe we reflect that when you're setting it up. It'll tell you. So great, thank you. I think I've worked my way through the questions. Any last questions? I'd be happy to address them. Type them in. I'm not seeing any, so I'll wait just another minute. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, so I want to thank everyone for attending today, and thank you, Jessica, for co-hosting and guest starring with us. It was really nice to hear your use case and to work with you on this project. So,
thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. We look forward to doing this again, maybe in the near future.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And I did get another question. Somebody asked about the cost of text. That's going to vary per plan, just like we do cost per minute, there's cost per text, and each plan has a different price point. So it's not quite black and white like that. Based on what plan you're on, it will tell you the cost of the texting.
And the most expensive plan option, which is our business plan, the $19 plan, that's where you're going to pay the most for each text message, and it's less than 2 cents. I believe it's 1.6 cents per text message on that business plan. On our contact center solution, it's 1 cent per message.
Yeah, and someone asked if there's a file size limit. There is. It is going to be 4 megabytes, but we will also give you a little info right here about that, of what sizes we accept or what format and size. So that information will be there for you. And that does look like it has concluded all of our questions. So again, thank you everyone for attending today. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to our support team and we would be happy to address them. And thank you, Jason and Jessica, for participating.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye.